Reality television viewers who tuned into The Golden Bachelor last night in anticipation of a series finale and perhaps a proposal were severely let down to hear that the show will not conclude until next week, on November 12th. While the rushed air schedule for The Golden Bachelor Season 2 indicated that the finale episode would show on Wednesday, November 5th, ABC decided to shorten Cindy and Mel's dream suite date and save the last bits of drama for next week. Mel hasn't asked either of his last two ladies to be his girlfriend on camera yet, so Peg and Cindy, along with the rest of the audience, are waiting to see which one he chooses. The usual host, Jesse Palmer, teased next week's conclusion by introducing a series of snippets from it, calling it explosive and emotional, near the close of last night's show. You can find a brief synopsis of last night's episode of The Golden Bachelor below, along with information about when the 2-hour after the final rose finale will broadcast and who is supposedly going to propose to Mel. A partial fantasy suites episode aired last night on The Golden Bachelor, despite viewers' expectations of a conclusion. At the end of Mel's final one-on-one dates with each woman, they got the chance to spend the night in private, away from prying eyes. Things began on an optimistic, cheery, and mostly unremarkable note with Peg's fantasy suite. After a dune buggy ride through Antigua's back roads, she and Mel had dinner together, during which they talked about their hopes for the future of their relationship and Mel's tendency to be more of a slow burn when it comes to opening up. They have a natural connection, and Mel gushed about how she looks at him and talks to him. He also praised her energy and enthusiasm. In the morning, after their intimate night together, the cameras went back to their suite to capture their reactions to what they had discussed. Peg and Mel both mentioned that they had fruitful discussions that confirmed their relationship goals are in sync. Mel was a bit wary about Cindy's date activity because the stingrays were larger than he had anticipated, but Cindy thoroughly enjoyed swimming with them on a boat. Following their lighthearted swimming date, Cindy probed Mel for his true intentions throughout dinner but came up empty-handed. The show ended on a cliffhanger, leaving viewers wondering if Cindy and Mel made it to the dream room unscathed. Perhaps the hesitation I'm sensing is merely a reflection of his past experiences. Perhaps he is afraid of hurting himself. Mel keeps to himself. He wears his heart on his sleeve. But now isn't the time to freak out, Cindy confessed. Could it be me? I'm not sure. Is it possible that his stronger bond with Peg is to blame? Then, maybe that's his character. After letting my guard down, I want to know that my future spouse is eager to take the next step with me and become my life partner. As far as I can tell, he's not letting anything stop him. Mel was asked by Cindy, "What do we do from here?" at the end of the episode. "Anything is possible if someone is willing," Mel responded. "So, that begs the question, is there a will? Cindy?" she inquired. The cliffhanger from After the Finale Rose will be picked up again in the series finale. At 8 p.m. ET on Wednesday, November 12th, ABC will screen the 2-hour After the Final Rose finale of The Golden Bachelor, which, similar to the debut, will air 1 hour before the other episodes. Reality Steve, a TV blogger, has the inside information after going without it for the majority of the season. Reality Steve Carbon claims that Peg Munson is the winner of the Golden Bachelor 2025 competition. Reality Steve claims that during the series finale, Mel Owens and Peg Munson became engaged. It is unclear, though, whether they will still be together beyond the season finale filming. The couple's first live appearance will be on the After the Final Rose segment, where more details will be disclosed. There was a lot of excitement surrounding The Golden Bachelor's premiere. With seniors searching for love, it was a novel take on the beloved Bachelor franchise. The show opted to include elderly contestants after years of young contestants fighting for a bachelor's heart, embracing the notion that love is ageless. One big question, however, remained with viewers after the show's conclusion. Why didn't The Golden Bachelor pop the question? When the eagerly awaited After the Final Rose program finally aired, the explanation wasn't as straightforward as many had hoped. The Golden Bachelor was a welcome change for many. The competitors were in their prime, bringing with them years of life experience, emotional development, and knowledge. Seeing elderly people who have experienced their fair share of ups and downs still crave for love had a poignant quality. Through the show, viewers were able to empathize with the competitors on a deeper level and identify with these older, more seasoned people as they dealt with the challenges of the game. Tension and excitement had increased throughout the season, particularly as the conclusion drew closer. Viewers excitedly anticipated what kind of love story would develop and whether Jerry Turner, the show's first senior bachelor, would pop the question to the woman he ultimately selected. The latter moments of the show, however, were surprising. There was no engagement ring in sight, in contrast to the typical, flashy proposals that are the trademark of the Bachelor franchise. What transpired in the After the Final Rose episode, and why did the Golden Bachelor not conclude with a proposal, an alternative type of love story? Let's start by acknowledging that the Golden Bachelor was not going to be like its predecessors. The show's goal was always to emphasize genuine relationships rather than a spectacular, fast-paced romance. The 72-year-old Jerry Turner had a history of loss before attending the concert. After years of mourning the loss of his wife, Toni, to Alzheimer's, Jerry was searching for love once more. The entire process felt different because of this emotional backdrop. It was more grounded, realistic, and introspective than the usual Bachelor fare. It became evident during the season that Jerry was seeking more than a brief romance. He was looking for a close, long-lasting relationship. This established the tone for the rest of the show. Jerry's quest wasn't about adding to the drama or gathering roses. It has to do with finding a lifelong companion. It was already evident from this change in plot that the conclusion would not be another Bachelor proposal. The pressure of the proposal The Bachelor franchise has established a custom of making proposals. The last two contestants will undoubtedly compete for the title of the one, and the Bachelor or Bachelorette will typically select one individual to pop the question to. However, this custom frequently carries a unique set of demands. There are many factors at play, including relationship dynamics being closely examined, public scrutiny, and the awareness that the choice will be televised to millions of people. The pressure of a proposal can occasionally feel like an artificial step for younger candidates who are trying to end the season with a bow. However, a proposal would have seemed too soon for someone like Jerry, who had spent a significant portion of his life forming important connections and had experienced the agony of losing a spouse. He was, after all, seeking a life partner with whom to spend his older years, not just someone with whom to date. Determining whether to pop the question wasn't a hasty decision. It took time, introspection, and careful consideration to fully grasp how deeply he felt. It's also critical to keep in mind that the Golden Bachelor was a kind of experiment. By including older competitors, many of whom had previously gone through the highs and lows of life and love, the show was breaking new ground. They were more interested in finding a companion who could enhance their lives than they were in winning. A proposal at the end of the show might have seemed hurried or too contrived to Jerry. Considering his personal experience and the nature of his journey on the program, he might have made the right option by waiting and not proposing at the finale. The truth about long-term partnerships. Relationship dynamics are frequently extremely different from the usual Bachelor situation, especially when we look at relationships later in life. Many of the Golden Bachelor contestants were in their 60s and 70s and had led fulfilling lives. Many of the difficulties that accompany courting and marriage had previously been overcome by them, including changing careers, having kids, and losing loved ones. It might not always make sense for someone in this stage of life to get engaged right away. Additionally, older folks typically approach partnerships with greater caution. They cherish friendship, mutual respect, and trust, qualities that are developed over time. While a younger person may view a proposal as the pinnacle of commitment, an older person may decide that they do not immediately need an engagement ring when they decide to spend the rest of their life with someone. It's possible that Jerry just needed more time to think about the bond he had formed with the woman he selected. Some of these issues were addressed in the After the Final Rose program. The audience witnessed Jerry consider his choice during the session. He clarified that even though he had strong thoughts about his ultimate decision, he didn't think the time was suitable to commit to anything so long-term. Instead, without the added pressure of a public proposal, he decided to keep developing their connection in a more natural way. Many viewers were moved by this decision because they realized that love, particularly when it occurs later in life, doesn't always require a spectacular proposal to prove its sincerity. The repercussions, a novel form of proposal? Even though there was no conventional proposal at the end of The Golden Bachelor, the relationship was nonetheless important. For some people, finding a partner and allowing their relationship to develop organically is the key to discovering love, as demonstrated by the After the Final Rose special. Jerry's maturity and awareness of the realities of long-term partnerships were demonstrated by his decision to postpone his proposal. It demonstrated that genuine love doesn't require haste or a dazzling public proposal. Jerry was continuing to date the woman he selected, and they were spending their time getting to know one another even better. According to the After the Final Rose episode, they had a genuine relationship that would develop at their own time.